trying to make sure I got it the
Oh, it's
right.
already live.
It is.
Oh, imagine if there were people already on.
It's all right. Microphone check, mic check. Make sure we in the camera.
Okay. Okay, pretty much sounds good.
I'm about to check right now.
The microphone thing keeps the sound keeps pops up.
Keep popping up.
Microphone check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear
There
me?
it
Can you
go.
hear me?
There it go.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You guys are gonna start waiting for people to start doing it.
Somewhere. I'm just gonna look and see if it's working.
Phone check. 1 2 1 2.
Oh yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Volume's up.
You said what?
Volume's up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Get my notes ready.
uh,
Are you guys gonna talk about how the Knicks coach is wrong?
Man, listen. We only got a little bit of time to daylight. We live.
we in the system.
So we in the system. We got our camera girl.
Let me just look over this. Um,
All right, look. First thing first before we start. Tiv, thank you. Changed the whole Nick culture around. Not by yourself, but it took a whole team. 4 times out of 5 years in the playoffs.
mhm.
Eastern Conference Finals, first time in 25 years, and you did good.
Yeah, we
changed
got yeah.
changed the whole culture. I guess it's more for you because it's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, this week. Well, it's been so long to be consistently in the playoffs. It seemed like a long time, but yeah, he came in. You said not just you, the players, but we got to give Tibbs a lot of credit because there was a lot of shuffling in and out of the players.
Well, not just I'm not saying
Yeah,
not just I'm
no,
not
I know
talking
what
about
you
the players.
meant.
I'm at
Not yeah,
the management.
yeah. He started this journey with Tibbs before this management. Like he just kind of knew when he got there what it was gonna be because
Mm,
he don't change.
right.
So we automatically knew from Chicago to Minnesota to the Knicks,
Mm,
he where he go, the coach go.
right.
He brings it.
Mm,
So he ain't have to develop the culture.
mm,
He bring the culture. So
right.
yeah, we definitely got to say big ups to Tibbs. And then we can even jump into why he got fired. But for the
I
time
mean,
he
yeah,
was
that's
here, he served us well.
we definitely gonna jump into that because it's almost like we split again in Nick culture because it is crazy that he's fired. Like I knew they said they was gonna make changes. I didn't think that was the change they was gonna make, but I'm pretty sure as fast as they did it, they had that conversation with him probably last year. You know what I mean? Because we wasn't satisfied with losing to Indiana last year. So Leon Rose and them get you more pieces. Was it the best of pieces? Maybe not, but we wouldn't know. We'll get into that later. But you like, come on, we lose the same way again with better players, everybody healthy to Indiana. So I know I said thank you, but now we got to really get into it. Leon Rose said he wants to bring a championship to New York, and by the moves they make, that's what they want. It's a winning culture. You know what I mean? Like if you want a winning culture, we got to win. It ain't enough to just run your system and this is the outcome, and you're getting out coached clearly in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you also got to believe that bringing in another coach keeps that winning culture.
Mm,
You rolling the dice with that one because like somebody said, Tibbs got the most out of the apple. Nah, he didn't get the most because we could have definitely played a whole lot better.
mm.
So Tibbs definitely didn't get the most out of the apple. A whole lot more juice could have came from that. You know, everybody didn't overachieve
I
um,
mean,
in this playoffs.
it's not, but this is probably where me and you, it's probably gonna start to disagree because I always blame coaching because they the ones that gotta lead these group of men. It's not like football when the quarterback got to lead them on the field. You know what I mean? Like you have to be the voice. You can't if you got a team, your system just don't work with every team. You know what I mean? Every team he go to, he got the same track record. So we try you out, and your family. You know what I mean? So you good for 5 years. He'd have been going year three, even though he's making it to the playoffs, knowing the old Knicks organization.
Well, yeah, because
I
remember,
don't think it's the same old Knicks because we
couple of
want to
years
win.
ago, Worldwide West kind of wanted them out,
Mm-hmm.
but Leon Rose didn't bite the bullet on it. Now, yeah, of course, coach takes the blame. Coach is always the fall guy, and it's a shame. Like, do the players share in any of that blame? Because this okay, he didn't really play the same system in the playoffs, making adjustments that he did during the season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on him. But at the same time, he's not turning the ball over. He's not missing wide open jumpers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's not playing selfish and not advancing the ball ahead. So the players got to share in the blame.
Mm-hmm.
They got to share in some of the blame.
Right.
But again, Tibbs, we got to still salute you because you served us well.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm not 100% mad at the decision because that was my complaint about the coaching or how we're being coached all year long. You know what I mean? We couldn't see the plays, but first thing I want to tackle is Stephen A. Come on now. You know what I mean? I got to like this couldn't wait for the weekend. You know what I mean? Like this had to be. He blamed Leon Rose for us losing, and like James Dolan. James Dolan don't got nothing to do what's going on. We ain't say his name for 5 years. You know what I mean? If like you gotta win, you mean to tell me you get it? So I'm gonna put it in perspective for Stephen A. real quick. So you mean to tell me Cat has a decent playoff run, and y'all automatically want to throw him away for Antetokounmpo?
Yeah,
Right after one, I feel like he played decent in the circumstances of how the game is being coached.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, players got to have a sit down with themselves and say what they could have did better. But if the coach ain't really telling you to do nothing different than what you're doing, you just out there doing whatever, and the players got to agree on whatever y'all doing. Yeah, like so, what are you gonna go get onto the combo now? You're gonna let him go for somebody else. You let DiVincenzo go for Shamit and all these other players. I forgot who we got for Mikal Bridges. You letting players go like that after 1 year, after one not satisfied. You know what I mean? You had Precious waiting to see if he was making the roster. So you gonna tell me you're gonna blame that on Leon Rose and Dolan?
yeah,
Nah, management did what they were supposed to do.
yeah. I don't think Dolan had his hand print in this one. I just think that when they said this was the first time in years that Dolan attended a players exit meeting, so could some of them players have said something?
Mm,
Like could a Mitchell Robinson not said anything favorably about Tibbs?
mm.
Could one of the Nova boys? Could one of them had said anything?
Mm.
Could Cat had said anything?
I mean, well,
Somebody could have said something.
what he did. Remember Josh Hart and Bridges. Remember the comments earlier, like you running us to the ground. Josh Hart was more playing. What was that like 2 years ago, right? And then you had Bridges that came out and said, well, maybe if you played the other guys, yeah, because now you get into the playoffs with a team that plays more guys and they know what to do. They know they role. I said this all year long. Like you got to utilize what you have, even if it's not the best thing that you have. But it's your job as a coach to pull the best out of the team.
Yeah, it is his job, but two, it's this one was a two-way street because take away Cat and Bridges, and even though Bridges wasn't there last year, he was watching intensely from afar.
Mm,
So you knew Indiana beat you last year, and you knew what was at stake. Yes,
mm,
this team was built to beat the Boston Celtics. That was our prime objective, and we did that. Now
mm,
it came in the conference semifinals,
mm,
but again, this is supposed to be a cakewalk now because we're not walking into Cleveland after
mm.
beating Boston.
I mean, but even with this said, one, we still got to give the players credit. You beat the champs from last year. You know what I mean? Yeah, they wasn't as healthy as they was last year, but you beat them. Indiana beat the best team in the East this year to get where they had to go. You know what I mean? Yeah, they wasn't healthy neither, but how many games they lost
Yeah,
each round? So you got to give it up to the coach and how they're playing. We can see the plays develop and how they run the ball and what the scheme is, and they successfully doing it every game. Are the Knicks better? Yes, and I think that was the issue. On paper, from what you got, we
Yeah, I
are
don't. Yeah,
clearly
yeah,
better than.
yeah. We better than them, and I don't think the Knicks overlooked Indiana.
Mm,
I just think that Indiana coming in with nothing to lose, clearly nothing to lose, and just laid it on the line.
mm,
Like Indiana could have probably maxed out. We didn't max out in
mm,
that series. They could have probably maxed out. So had we got in there and did some of the things that we know we're supposed to be doing,
mm,
and I kept harping on um, moving the ball, moving yourself,
mm,
running. We can't run with them for 48 minutes, but we wasn't running with the opportunity. And again, everybody points to the same thing with Brunson. You spending 6-7 seconds to get across half court,
mm,
then you spend another 6-7 seconds getting into your move, and now you leaving yourself with a few seconds to make a move, and
mm,
it's draining our offense. And you had to know, watching them advance that ball on a make,
mm,
let alone on a miss, how they're advancing the ball. Something's got to tell you as a point guard, we got to do something different.
mm,
Even if the coach ain't making an adjustment. Okay, Tibbs is stubborn.
mm,
He ain't gonna play everybody. He ain't gonna make too many adjustments.
mm,
Now he'll make a defensive adjustment, which he's done.
mm,
It just didn't help us.
mm,
But offensively, right, it's up to you now as a player. I just can keep walking the ball up the court. Do I trust the other players, meaning Brunson?
mm.
Do I trust him enough to kick it ahead?
Right.
So we can't blame. We can definitely can blame Tibbs, but not by himself.
Mm,
I don't think we can blame James Dolan. No matter how many times somebody say
right.
his footprint was on that, his footprint was nowhere on that. Even if he made the call to get rid of Tibbs,
Mm,
even if he did make that call, he's still not to blame
mm,
because he did say on the podcast, I don't care what everybody else do, but y'all they told me we gonna win a championship.
mm,
When I'm dope and I'm divvying out this money, they say, yeah, we can win a championship. So
mm,
now my mindset is, don't tell me you're gonna. Remember, he said,
mm,
don't tell me you're gonna do it, and you don't do it.
mm,
So can't put it on him.
mm.
It's a business, and we got a good 5 years out of Tibbs. I would like to have seen one more. And
Yeah.
when I was watching the NBA countdown with Malika Andrews and Perk,
Mm,
I didn't want to see one more by making Tibbs a lame duck one more.
mm,
Like going into this, I don't know. Tibbs deserved better than that.
mm,
You can't say going into this season is make it. Nah, then do what you did, fire.
mm,
But in your mind, you could have said to yourself, okay, I'm gonna give him one more because they say Indiana got to the conference finals last year
mm,
and coming back with the same team got to the finals.
mm,
So who's to say that Tibbs got to the Eastern Conference Finals,
mm,
got to the finals, got like he did. He stepped it up in 3 years, even though we got to the semis twice.
mm,
We exited out in the first round twice. We exited out in the second round twice. Then we exited out
mm,
in the finals, Eastern Finals. So who's to say next year we don't take that next step?
mm.
So again, but I'm not putting that on Tibbs.
I
I'm not.
mean, now we just wouldn't know, right? Because I do think you still got to coach these teams for what you got. Tibbs is somebody that gonna run it the way he want to run it.
You're gonna run your tongue out your mouth.
That's the problem.
But players coming in, you
But it's
take
not the
that money, you know that.
yeah, but that's my issue. You can't be on the Knicks and run what you want to run, and then let's say he get hired for another team. You're gonna run that team the same way you ran the Knicks.
Yeah, because he ran all three of his teams that way.
Yeah, but it's not working.
All right, times have changed, but somebody's still gonna hire him for that because they're gonna hire him to set the culture.
Yeah, I'm
If
talking
there's
about
a
yeah,
team
but
that
that's
don't have a culture,
and that's the
they're
thing.
going to hire
And
him.
but that's why I wanna. That's what I'm trying to like portray. You know what I mean? Like that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's not getting you nowhere unless you really got a ring with it. I don't think he did.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're not getting a ring that way. You got to take the players you got and make it work with that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they throw in like the Bridges trade hurt the Knicks. How?
Nah, that didn't hurt the Knicks because at this going into last season, to come into this season, there was no young person that was going to help us.
Mm,
There was, we just didn't probably use Bridges all the time to his full capability. But there was no draft. There's no draft pick that was going to help us this year.
mm,
Because where was you going to put him? Unless you had the number one pick. And in fact, who was the number one pick this year? Where were you going to put the guy?
Mm,
Like we were building something last year,
mm,
and we started out like we fed the whole season um in the top 3, 4, and 5. So
mm,
that says a whole lot right there. What was a young guy gonna do for you? And now moving forward in the future,
mm,
I would have still gave up them picks at the time for Bridges, knowing, but I would have called on him to be the man probably more than just when Brunson went out of the game.
mm,
Because I know your skill set. I know your
right,
capability of taking over an offense. So
mm,
Brunson would have still been in the game while I allowed you to have your moments in an offense.
mm,
And Tiz was not going to develop 3 level scoring.
right,
Center, forward, guard. Tiz
mm,
wasn't going to do that, but the players
oh,
could have did that. He gave him free reign.
mm.
Players could have did that.
But yo, just Knicks. Salute to you for being in here. What's up? What's up? He
What's
said,
up?
"What do you say about the players feeling some type of way towards Rick Brunson?" Um, I mean, yeah, you probably feel a little bit some type of way. You know what I mean? I don't think they really cared. To
You
tell you
don't
the
think
truth,
so?
nah.
I think they did. I think Mitch cared, and I probably think Cat cared. I think they probably felt some way that Brunson get preferential treatment and the Villanova boys get a little
Mm,
preferential treatment. Certain things they're able to get away with. Josh Hart
mm,
able to talk junk to the coach in the huddle
mm.
with no repercussion. Yeah, the players see that.
Yeah, but you don't think they all had that issue?
No,
I'm not. I'm
no.
talking about. You don't think? I thought they all was doing that. To tell you the truth, because Rick, Josh said that like he's hard to be around, but that's his coaching style. So I think that was just him. I think the problem is when you probably we don't know if we reprimanded Brunson and then Rick Brunson's probably stepping in to make it seem like it's not his fault or something. But I doubt it.
No, I doubt that part. I
But
just
there's a lot
mean
of things that Brunson was doing. I think Rick Brunson don't even like the celebrations, the holding the ball too long. I don't think he likes
so.
that.
So are you saying too that then there's zero chance that they sneak Rick Brunson in there as a coach?
Nah, I don't think so. I
Right?
mean, we'll get into that, but
Could that be a possibility?
nah, I don't see that.
All right, I just asking.
Yeah, nah, that would probably mess up the Knicks. You know what I mean? Rick Brunson be nah. I think he. I don't even think he's gonna be a coach next year.
I
I
think he
think
will.
because if you bring in a new coach, ain't they gonna bring in new staff?
Not all the time, but you always keep a couple.
I mean, he's gonna be on the
But
bench probably,
gonna
but
you're
he.
gonna try to keep. But Leon Rose is not. He's gonna keep Brunson happy.
Mm,
Unless Rick goes somewhere with Tibbs, you're gonna keep Brunson happy.
I mean,
I wouldn't care if they got rid of the father. We paying the son a lot of
because
money.
if Rick Brunson's an issue,
Now, I
and
don't think it's an
I'm,
issue.
no, I'm just saying, like if it was an issue and Thibodeau was an issue, like Jeff Teague's comments about Tibbs' coaching style would make a toxic locker room or something way hard to beat. He said basically Tibbs don't give direction, so that leaves Brunson to do whatever you want to do. You can basically run what you want to run. And then he said he'll say things to you on the bench like, "Hey Jeff, you see anything out there to help me out?" He's like, "No." He was like, "Just help me out. What you see out there? Give Jimmy the
Oh yeah.
ball." Like you know what I mean? Like all he does is scream. Like I think you said it last show. You know what I mean? Some coaches ain't even like that. Like they're not X and O's. Like they're not in the huddle changing a play or
No, a lot of
doing
coaches
X.
are not like
I
that.
remember Mike Wilkins. I think Mike Woodson used to do that. Like we used to
Yeah, but
be
he
able
was
to
old
tell.
school.
Yeah, we used to be able to
Yeah.
tell that he switched something or put something in place.
Well, I told you, even in the huddles now, probably 95% of the coaches, like I ain't gonna say back in the day, but once upon a time, even before they was holding the clipboard, they was
Mm,
drawing it up with chalk on the floor.
mm.
Then there was the clipboard. You could see the X and O's. Now all you hear in the
They
huddle
just tapping it.
is play harder. Come on, don't give up. Stay tough. Stay strong. That's all you really
Mm,
hear now. You don't really hear too much about. I remember once when the Knicks we had Marbury in a timeout, and
mm,
Marbury ran and I called the Coney Island play because I worked in Coney Island for a while.
mm,
And then the gym, all the guys did that play.
mm.
The backdoor alley oop, off
Right.
the ball, the out of bounds play.
Mm,
Marbury drew that up, and the Knicks won the game.
mm.
David Lee got the tip in. But those are things a lot of coaches don't do on the fly. They may come out of halftime make an adjustment,
Mm.
but very rarely now do you see a coach on the fly,
And that's
calling it.
crazy to me.
And you need that. And if it's not that in your head coach, it should at least be that in your top assistant.
Mm.
It should at least be that in your top assistant. You know.
Yeah, true. But listen, if you're here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. We'll go live more often so y'all can see it. But I know the pace of game going on. You know, I ain't watching that. I don't care
Is
nothing
that
about it.
tomorrow?
Oh, I thought it was today.
Nah, Thursday, right? I think it's Thursday.
Either Thursday or today,
Yeah,
but we ain't watching it either way. I know y'all
yeah.
probably tired of talking about it, but before it get dark out here, because we outside cooling, what coach would y'all want? So the coach is floating around right now. I think will probably be a good idea, just in case you keeping Rick Brunson, Mark
See,
Jackson.
because who if anybody's in there, I want to see who they want too.
Yeah,
Let
just
me see who they
let us
want.
know. Like I
But
said, just Knicks. Salute for you being in here. I know there was probably a couple people in here, but I missed it. Couldn't see. But they had Mark Jackson. How you feel about that?
no, right now, no, I don't want. I love Mark. You know, that's my man. But no,
But
I don't
see,
want
now
Mark.
here's the thing about Mark though.
I don't want Mark with this team.
But no, this is the only thing I say about Mark. I think at least he'll do what I want for you to coach what you got, not what you did in the
Oh
past.
yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like work with what you got.
Yeah.
They said Jay Wright from Villanova coach. Now you just trying to dismantle the Knicks. We did that
You trying to dismantle the Knicks?
because you already talking about Rick Brunson, and you talking about the family that they had with Thibodeau. You bringing another person for Brunson just to go reckless with? I don't even know if Brunson was going reckless with that coach, but
Nah. Heck no. Jay Wright ain't no slouch. Now, he always said he was always asked that question in the past 3 years after leaving Villanova,
mm,
and then when they got Brunson, would he coach the Knicks? He said he wouldn't, but Phil Jackson said he would never go to the front office. So I would not be opposed. I don't I don't I don't want Jay Wright, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. I
nah.
wouldn't be opposed to that. But there's other people who
I
I
feel
would
like you
rather
get
have.
him now. You gotta wait for him to develop because he ain't never been an NBA coach. You
No, he's
can't
never
give
been
him
a.
no
Well, a
three,
lot of
5 year
guys,
rule.
yeah, a lot of guys. Whoever you get, I would give him on a 3-year contract anyway. That's all I'm giving you.
I didn't like this one either, but Mike Malone.
I like that one.
Yeah, but he got fired for the same thing.
Yeah, but I still like that one because
He's
he's
another
gonna,
coach that's gonna coach what he wants.
but he got what I like about him is that, and even before their championship run, all 5 guys had a role on offense.
Mm,
That's what I like. That now he got a lot out of them defensive wise. So
mm,
they try to put him in that Tibbs clone. He's more offense than Tibbs.
mm,
He's way more offense than Tibbs. Now he is a defensive minded coach, but all his 5 guys on offense,
mm,
everybody knew their role. I'll take that because I was looking at the players that we got and trying to compare them to their, which is the same team they had the championship with.
mm,
Um, Cat would be Joker. You know what you could get out of Cat, and Cat is a passing
mm,
center. He can pass.
mm.
Not to try to replicate them. OG would be what's the dunker? The dunker. So everybody on our team would match up with
But
somebody they had.
I
I
would say,
like that.
yeah, I would say this though. Ain't he the same coach that had a problem with like Melo and all these other players?
Malone, no, he would no, not
That
him.
that's not him.
Nah, no, that's not
Uh,
him.
who was that coach? Who was that?
There's a few of them that had a problem with Melo, but that
I thought that was him.
George Carl, Bizdelic, a few of them.
Probably
So
George Karl.
I mean, Mike Malone would be higher on my list. I'm gonna let you keep going. There's one I definitely
Uh,
don't want. So
Tyler Jenkins.
I don't know too
The
much
other
about
name,
him.
the other guy, I didn't even know how to spell his name. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie to y'all.
Um,
I wasn't even gonna try to spell his name. I didn't know who that was. Sam Cassell.
no, I like Sam, but no, not with this team. Not with this team.
Who you had?
Well, let's keep going with the people they was talking
I
about.
mean, that's all I wrote so
Oh,
far.
yeah, because of
They was
course,
talking about a couple people.
Johnny Bryant.
I was gonna
They
ask you,
said
Coach
is
Carter.
Coach Carter.
Yeah,
Coach Carter for the movie.
yeah. You,
No, hell no.
nah,
He didn't even win.
I thought they won at the end.
No, they lost at the end.
No,
Uh,
we'd been running that. We used to been running Delilah. So I don't know.
Johnny Bryant, they said, is high on the list. But remember, he's one of the 2 candidates for the Phoenix job.
Mm.
So I don't. I would take Johnny Bryant. I would take Malone before I would Johnny Bryant.
Sidney Vass, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Say, what's up? What's up,
Mark.
Scotty?
He said Mark Jackson, or Sam Cassell.
Yeah, I'm scared to stand with this team. This is not a real running team to me. For Cassell, I like Cassell, and you got to give a young coach a chance. One person I don't want is Jason Kidd.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, but him and Johnny Bryant is high on their list. Now they would have to get permission to talk to Jason Kidd.
Mm,
I love the fact that they will never get him,
mm.
Ime Udoka, that they considering that. But of course, Houston
But
ain't
then,
letting
yeah, they ain't
him
letting
out
him
of it.
go.
Well, they ain't letting him out of the
What was gonna do?
contract.
A sign and trade?
But who we gonna give him?
We ain't got no picks. We ain't got nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, Sid, everybody would want Mark. It's just that I don't, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some changes.
Mm,
But for right now, with the pressure, I don't want Mark to have this pressure right now
mm.
because the media is way too hot, and they will be on his every move. And if Cat was a little bit more decisive in his move and his play, then I would like to take Mark. I want Mark when we got a player who you can throw the ball to, and it's a wrap.
Mm.
Like we Brunson got to take time to set his man up. Cat, I don't know how he fell into that pounding mode.
Mm.
So,
I
but
mean, but when you,
I would take Malone.
I mean, listen. Sometimes players can be good, but sometimes they need more direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Cat, I don't understand. Like he just looked like he adopted some of those moves he was doing, which they look like good moves, minus the holding people. Like you don't really have to hold them.
How's
You
the light,
already
Lee?
flew by him. You know what I mean? There's like Brunson. Like, did that go to your head? Was that a thing that was maybe with Rick Brunson and him? Like, was that an issue? Brunson, not a he was to me was a hybrid. I like the
Yeah.
fact that he passed first, and when we needed scoring, he was scoring. So what happened to that? And that goes back to Tibbs.
Because part of that is everybody. I think in that series, it's Indiana. We didn't play the way we have been playing in this whole playoff. Everybody want to be the hero,
Mm,
from Brunson to Cat to OG. You could see it.
mm,
They making their move. They putting their head down and they going to the basket.
mm,
Everything was downhill, which you can't argue with that. But we needed some outside shooting,
mm,
and we needed some ball movement because everybody became easy to guard.
mm.
Everybody became easy to guard because it was one on one. So Tibbs takes the blame for that, but also the point guard takes the blame for that. You know,
Right,
that's not what got you there.
because I feel like DeLon Wright was doing the job.
Yeah.
Now maybe the pressure's on you to look like a real point guard, or maybe he just played that way.
No, he just played that
And
way.
again,
But
that's the issue.
yeah, again,
That's my only issue. I mean, the Knicks played very well. We had a good season. I was shooting for Eastern Conference Finals. I knew we could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just thought we was gonna be playing Cleveland. They got the two centers. My theory was wrong. I mean, unless they was hurt or something, but the Pacers beat them.
But they were hurt. But they were hurt most of the series though,
Yeah,
from the jump.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the Celtics, I thought we probably would have played, but I guess it made no sense because I guess we came in third. I mean,
Yeah.
we came in third. We had a winning season. I think something else may have happened, or there was some other conversation that may have happened for Tiz to be let go like this.
They had already known they was gonna do that.
Yeah, because this ain't the same
Yeah.
old Knicks that just because you let the coach go, y'all gonna let the players go that we worked hard for you to coach them. That's my thing. It's like y'all got to play devil's advocate. Like y'all quick to let go of Towns. Y'all quick to tell Brunson like he don't got to be the hero. He holding the ball too long. He's a vacuum. Well, this is where we got the coaching staff. We got all these players on the coaching staff for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm not even talking about only Tibbs. The whole bench, Rick Brunson down,
Yeah. Well,
Mo Cheeks.
Yeah, but now
Remember, we got
management-
him. Where's his voice at?
But now
I know we never
is on the hot
hear
seat.
it, but
Yeah, management now is on the hot
I don't
seat
think they're on the
because-
hot seat. I think they did what
I
they
think
want
they
to
are
do.
because
He
I
said
think next year,
we want to bring a ring to New York City.
right? But
and
you
this how
now,
we gotta
of
do
course, you got to say that because
it. Mm,
Dolan probably wasn't just looking at Tibbs.
mm,
You know, for what you gave up.
mm,
For what you gave up, I need to see. Now we saw more results because you advanced further, and you stayed in the top echelon the whole season.
mm.
And in the beginning of the season, you had a chance to take over the number one spot, and then you just hit
I
your
ain't
little,
gonna lie, I like that
without
background.
without having Mitch.
It look good.
Oh yeah, it look good to these mosquitoes too.
Mm,
But now you got to let Dolan know that we gave up the 5 picks for Bridges, but that we can get more out of Bridges
Mm.
with another coach, a fresh coach with more fresh ideas.
mm.
On offense, we could get a little bit more
Yeah,
out
they
of him.
need fresh eyes because we were
Yeah.
saying the whole series they can't hold Towns. So why Towns ain't getting fed the ball? We said the whole series they can't hold Mikal. My problem with Mikal is some of them shots you could have made easy on yourself.
Yeah,
Every shot didn't have to be a mid-range fadeaway. You could have went to the hole.
Well, yeah, because that's just supposed to be
Your
one of your
go-to.
weapons. But it also could have been the pull up. You don't have to be just going to the hole. I think we was relying too much on going to the hole.
OG was supposed to be not a master of that corner shot, but we ain't get him in his spot all series.
Yeah, yeah,
We had him on that. What do you want to call it? The wing,
yeah.
shooting those, but from corner threes, let him shoot it. A shooter gonna shoot.
Yeah, but remember he didn't. But I think the reason why he wasn't going to the corner in that series because the ball wasn't moving like that. So I'm not burying myself in the corner and totally take myself out of the play.
I'm talking about Josh Hart, coast to coast,
Same thing with Josh
best
Hart.
coast to coast
Yeah,
player,
right.
and you didn't go coast to coast. Matter of fact, the 3 points you actually shot, you still shot better than a lot of people. Just shoot it. Like what the coaching staff didn't say nothing, and I know that with the media and everybody that talks on the camera, we all think we right, but I think in this case
I
we
think
was
I'm
all
right.
right, huh?
No, good.
Yeah, I'm about to say in this case we was all right. You know what I mean? Like there was no reason why y'all didn't play y'all game.
Nah, that part was disappointing. It's disappointing to lose, but it's disappointing to lose knowing that we didn't get the max out of that New York Nick Apple.
Mm,
And if we'd have got the max out of that, right now we definitely would be going to the finals.
mm,
So I just think that I think it was an overreaction and an overreach to fire Tibbs at this
mm,
juncture. Now again, if you're going to fire him, good, do it now.
mm,
And then if you're going to hire somebody, do it before the draft.
mm,
Let that coach have some input going into next year.
mm.
Now they're not going to have a say in all the free agent decisions,
Do you
but
think?
but give a coach a heads up and a leg up going into next season.
Do you think they had an idea of what coach they wanted?
Yeah. I think it started with Ime Udoka, and I don't know why in the hell
Well,
anybody
why
wants
is it
Jason
Ime
Kidd.
Doka if he's not? He's not gonna get
Well,
let go.
people can get out of a contract. He ain't getting out of that one. I don't think he want to get out of that one. I
Mm.
think he loved what he's building down there. I don't want Jason Kidd for nothing.
And Mike Malone, I don't know. That just makes me
I like
nervous.
Mike. I mean, I'm not saying I like him because I know so much about him,
Mm,
but I just look at his team and I look at how their players how they played,
mm.
how everybody's getting the ball. I think they practice that.
I just want the next coach. I just want the coach to go in a different direction with the offense.
Well, then you got to get a young. That's the only thing about a young, feisty coach, which everybody's doing now.
Mm,
When I say young, meaning their first time head coaching, is that they're not bringing an identity.
mm,
And are we going to play hard enough to help a young coach out
mm,
on the defensive end? See, Tibbs didn't let you slack on the defensive end. We might have got burnt on defense
mm.
because with the pick and rolls, I think it was just harder for Mikal and OG to really lock in defensively with all the late pick and rolls coming, or if you caught in a switch with Brunson or Cat, who don't know what the hell they doing.
Right, Sidney Vass. Like, yeah, they need offense. Tibbs was good to set the culture. Like, yeah, we needed a coach like
Yeah.
Tibbs. He did an awesome job. In my lifetime, like we was a winning team for 5 years. We
Yeah, well, they
didn't,
had that one, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that
That one, that's
second
probably,
year,
but it's
And
still,
that was some injuries too.
yeah, it's still a
Yeah.
winning culture, a
Yeah.
winning team. You felt good about being a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen so many Knicks fans in my life since Tibbs got there. You know what I mean? And Brunson, and even with Leon Rose, like we still got to give them credit. Every time they
Yeah.
make a move and we question they move, something good comes out of it.
They dialed it up.
And that's what
They
people
dialed
not
it up.
talking about. Like that's why Stephen A got me mad. Cause I ain't know nothing about World Wide West and Leon Rose, and Knicks is good for doing a gimmick, and you're good for hearing James Dolan name, but James Dolan ain't got nothing to do with what's going on.
Not this time.
Yeah, not this time. Like
Yeah.
this had to do with either one, which we don't know, is did the players accept what Thibodeau was saying, or was Thibodeau even saying anything? Because to me, all year long, when we doing this show, I've been saying, what is Thibodeau running? Matter of fact,
Well, they had times they were running plays.
but matter of fact, there was a time period when they said Brunson and Towns was the best two men. But for that short amount of time they was doing it, I said, did they even understand what they was doing?
Yeah, I think they did.
I don't think they did.
I think they could have still did it if they wanted to. They could have did it if they wanted to. But if we're gonna get a young
But who?
feisty coach,
I'm talking about who could have did it if they wanted
Brunson
to.
and Towns could have still ran that. The same way they picked on us. They picked on Brunson and Towns in the pick and roll.
Mhm.
So why we didn't pick on them?
Mello on Mello's show, he was talking to JR, and he said they was talking about the best point guards they was with, and he was talking about Jason Kidd, and he said they ran a play like 3 or 4 times in a row, worked every time. Jason Kidd said, "All right, we're gonna run this." He said, "Yo, why we ain't running this play?" He's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. They ain't ran it for the rest of the game." At the end of the quarter, when they needed a play, he said, "Remember that play I told you stop running?
Yeah.
They ain't gonna see it coming."
Right.
And they ran
Yeah.
the play. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of player
That's a
he
veteran.
was.
But
That's a
that's a veteran
veteran.
move because that's stuff what he was learned. Jason Kidd was in the league a long time.
Mm,
So yeah, just like in football, they'll save a trick play for the right moment.
mm,
And that's what they do. The teams like that with the veteran people, yeah, they hold it. We got it, but we're gonna hold that in our pocket. And
mm,
we got so many things that we could have held in our pocket,
mm.
like the Jalenbrunson, really, the Jalenbrunson
Because Towns didn't
and
have to.
McHale pick and roll.
That's what I'm saying. One, Towns had to set that screen a little better.
He wasn't even setting the screen.
He wasn't
right.
even really
He
setting the
was so
screen.
busy trying to roll to get the pop.
But again,
he
I would
wasn't even
say,
thinking about that.
and I would have said, coaching staff got to do the right thing. Two, he didn't have to go to the basket. That's a Thibodeau. Like Towns didn't have to roll to the basket. He could have rolled out to the 3-point line. You know what I mean? You took him out his confidence when y'all bombed on him for shooting them fall threes. He was making it.
No,
Everybody do it.
No, when he started shooting them again, that wasn't the problem. We got to give him that. He was knocking that down in Indiana.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
he
they
was
was
knocking
letting
them
him do it
threes down.
again.
Yeah.
Cause now your job is on the line from what it looked like. Cause now you playing more plays. You're doing things you normally wouldn't even do.
Yeah, but that
'Cause
was
the past
him,
times
though.
we made it to the playoffs, you still ain't played the bench.
Yeah, but that was him. The threes he was hitting was him because you could always see the hesitation. If it had been called for the pick and pop, and he could have shot him in rhythm, that would even been better
Mm,
because the defense was always there every time he shot it.
mm,
So that was him deciding should I shoot it or should I? But imagine we run the pick and pop where
mm.
he pops and he know he's gonna get it, and then it's butter.
Right.
So that's a whole nother kind of offense. So
Mm.
we just didn't do that. But yeah, we need offense, Sydney. Ain't no doubt about
Mm.
that. We need a guy that in those last few seconds of the game, they can make that quick adjustment and switch
Mm.
and get that ball to where exactly that it has to go. And then the counter guy could do what he got to do. So, but again, it was a successful season unless you count that we played Indiana. I try not to even. I wasn't even mad that we lost.
Yeah. Indiana played. It's just that it was Indiana. That's one.
And you're supposed to beat them. You're supposed to beat them. The stars don't line up every year.
I mean, the thing we all asking ourselves is, some of us, but I was probably asking, was it enough for me to say fire Thibs? No, but we definitely needed a change. And I didn't think Gail going out to get Antetokounmpo was going. Y'all know I love Antetokounmpo, but I don't think I don't think he's enough to make us win.
Depends on what we got.
It depends on what we got, but he's over there with Dame Lillard. You put him in the system with Thibs. This is where my mind goes. You put him in the system with Thibs. Antetokounmpo goes coast to coast. He's looking for the shooter. It just so happened to go to Josh Hart. Is Josh Hart going to shoot?
Nah, but no, that wouldn't have been.
It gets kicked out to OG.
OG
now,
would shoot it.
Yeah, OG would shoot it.
That's
but then,
not his game.
Yeah, he got into a rhythm where he trying to pump fake, let the player go past him. But the player's not full steam ahead on you. You should have just pulled it. And maybe that's not his style. I don't know. But that's what run through my head. Like, y'all was quick to let Towns go. To me, other than defense, they ain't perfect. If they was perfect, he would never got traded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we should. Yeah, I think we should.
Y'all
save
complaining
the
like Randall
for another one.
Randall played the same way he did for the Knicks on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, but you gotta realize too now, Joey, when you leave New York, the pressure is not the same. The whole daily routines are not. It's not like playing in the Garden or playing for the Knicks. Now look at we had Obi. Look how freely Obi played. Hartenstein. Look how freely DiVincenzo. How freely you play because you're not critiqued on every movement
and Sidney
like you are in New York.
And Sidney Vass, I agree.
What's that?
He said Thibs got fired for not developing the rookies. If Kolek and the French dude would have developed during the season. And this is what I said.
Yeah.
I say this every show.
Yeah.
If he would have played these young guys and just put them out there, Dottier, what's the tall
Porty,
Hawk
they
Porty?
definitely should have been
They
developed.
should have
It's
been
just that,
playing, but that's
yeah,
Tibbs. Tibbs, his stubbornness led him here. You know what I mean? Like if he would have just played these guys throughout the season, they would have had a role and knew what to do. This is why Leon Rose and them got these players. They got these players for you to utilize, and you didn't utilize it.
yeah,
So when am I gonna? Why am I breaking my back and spending all this time getting players that are decent and you not even using them?
yeah.
As Knicks fans, we know we see players like, damn, we should have kept him.
Yep.
Shaman is a prime example. After the series, we love him. Before he got hurt, we loved him
Yeah.
because we see what he can be. But now, as a coach, you got to go out there and put plays in place for him to do that. Not like how we did with what's the dude that's a shooter, but then we get him, he want to be a playmaker. Fournier.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get Fournier, and then this is what you do. I know you want to show that you can do more, but we don't need you to do that. But it's the coach to say, no, set you a screen, shoot your shot. So, yeah, I agree. If that's why they fired him, that's why I would have
There's
fired him
definitely
too.
a reason in there. Yeah.
I got these players.
Yeah.
The Knicks organization is known
Yeah.
for making bad moves. We make these good moves to get these players, and you don't play them at all.
Yeah.
Tyler
Nah,
Kolek
Dottie-
was a prime example of we need this kind of point guard to come in the game off the bench. Mind you, wait, before I even say that though, McBride was good.
Look, I look at Dottie and I
McBride
think
put
about
on though.
Asir.
I love
think
McBride.
I think of Asir Thompson, what Dottie can develop. Now he's younger, what he could develop into the type of player. You know, and he can shoot, and he can shoot lights out. So yeah, Tibbs dropped the ball on that, and management. That's a conversation that maybe they should have had with him. Maybe they did, but Tibbs not gonna listen to that. So his stubbornness also got him fired.
Yo, listen, thank y'all for stopping in. I see the likes, six people watching. Sydney Vass, I appreciate you.
My
Well, listen,
guy.
whoever's in here, if you watching, what coach do y'all want to see the Knicks get? Or what moves do y'all want to see the Knicks get before it get too dark out here? To tell y'all the truth, I don't want them to do nothing else. If they're not going to switch a player with a same type of player,
I think we got to figure out.
You're not going to get a shooter.
I think we got to figure out
maybe another center. If
how to put how to put OG back at the 3, and if Bridges got to come off the bench, even with all that money, then Bridges and Hart got to come off the bench.
Kolek should have had Payne minutes. Yeah, if Tibbs was developing him, but Payne for what he was useful. Because when the shot drops, it's good. You know what I mean? Like when Campaign shot was going down, he's bringing the energy and running the floor is good. With Kolek, remember Kolek got hurt too, I think. So he wasn't gonna get Payne's minutes anyway.
Well, yeah, remember too.
True. He's not the future, but like I mean, Kolek I think was hurt. I was against him playing right this second.
Oh, Kolek's playing next year.
But
you can believe that.
We still had McBride.
Kolek's playing next year. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it.
Hawk Porter should play next year too.
Yeah, but Kolek definitely is playing because they're not keeping a real point guard on their roster.
And I love Precious, but Hawk Porter's playing. I ain't gonna lie.
We got to get a forward though, a forward or center off that bench that could get instant buckets too. It's not enough to play hard anymore. You got to be able to produce on offense. It's not enough anymore just to play hard. You got to balance that roster out. Because this year it wouldn't have mattered who. It wouldn't have mattered who they brought in. Tibbs just was going to run his starters in the ground, so that wouldn't even matter. So, all right.
I mean, listen, next time
we get into the players on the next one.
Ooh, y'all see that light? See, it's a delay when I see it. So, but listen, losing Dante hurts. It do. But like I said, Dante was just gonna do what he wanted to do. I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Shaman couldn't do what he just probably wanted to do. He's probably trying to keep a job. Dante already said in his mind he probably got a job. And I think that's also
not only that, you got your boy with you too.
Yeah, with that family affair, that's probably the issue.
Point guard with you, so
I got Dante. It's me. It's the Villanova connection. Who else was it? Dante. Oh, Josh Hart. My dad's here. Thibodeau's here.
Yeah, remember
Leon
Ryan
Rose
Archer,
is here.
how you say Ryan
I
was
could
there
do
at
what
the
I
beginning
want
of
to
the
do.
season. Yeah, and it's now we're gonna get into that on the next show, but the talk of bringing DiVincenzo back.
Because I ain't going to lie. Randall, it wasn't so bad now that you look at it. Like, it probably would have been the same outcome.
Now we needed Towns. We
No, I
'cause
love Towns. I'm
because
just,
we
I'm just.
needed that inside presence, the inside outside presence.
Mm,
So I loved Randall, but Towns we needed at the time.
mm.
So yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how Randall would have went to the hole, how Towns go to the hole, but Towns shooting, whereas Randall shooting at the three.
See, with Towns, it was always
The energy that Towns bring.
see Randall. You had to wait for it. With Towns, you knew you was getting it. That's the difference. You know you're getting it with Towns. Might not be the way you want it, but you're getting it.
Oh, while y'all in here, make sure you hit that notification bell because we definitely gonna go live more instead of just shooting the show regular.
Well, yeah, 'cause we got to talk about the incoming players or whatever they're gonna do. That topic is getting hot.
You said the what?
You know, the topic of who the Knicks may want to go after. That topic is getting hot. That means something's brewing.
I
They
hope they
ain't
don't.
They not standing pat.
I
I
hope they
want
don't
them
do nothing
to.
already. Who has to resign? Mikal?
Our main guys are our main 6 or 7 are under contract.
Mm.
You know, with Deuce counted in that. They all under contract for at least one more year.
Mm.
Between Mitch, Deuce, you know, you have Hart, but you got Brunson, Cat, OG, and Mikal.
And now that I think about it though, if they let Rick go, Brunson with that big contract, that's gonna mess up the.
No, it ain't. If you got to get paid, you got to get paid because Indiana's showing everybody gonna have to have max money.
Listen, we put Chris Smith on the roster one time. You gonna let my dad go?
Listen, that's right. Give it up for Lakewood.
I
Lakewood
want.
in the house.
Listen,
that's right.
You give up. You let my dad go. I want the max. I don't care.
You might get mad and say, I want my dad on the roster. You ain't gonna play him anyway. All right.
I mean, yeah. See, and that's the issue. So now we're gonna say the same thing with Thibodeau. We're gonna say we should have ran that back with Thibs.
No, I don't think there'll be no hindsight. There ain't gonna be no
Because I
hindsight.
said that, and then we got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
salute the Tibbs. We definitely gonna
no
say
times.
we definitely gonna say salute the Tibbs.
But it looking like that's it. Camera girl, look like you can shut it off. You see the button? Don't press it yet.
Which one?
The stop the stream.
The one, this one?
You see it? It's there. Don't touch it yet. You pressed it already?
No.
Oh, all right. Anything else? He said, nah, Tibbs done.
What you say?
And he said, nah, Tibbs done.
Yeah, he done. There ain't gonna be no hindsight. He did his job. 5 years, he did his job. You know, the Knicks are a contender, meaning like teams gonna look at us. They look at us different, and that's what we wanted to. We wanted to be in the conversation, so now we in the conversation. You know, we're not a laughing stock anymore. We not. It's not false hopes when they say, "Oh, a Knicks fan. Oh, just wait till next year." We've arrived. We arrived. So
Listen, from now on, look like we're gonna try to go live. So hit your notification bell. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. If you're watching this back, subscribe. Let us know what coach would you want and what move you want the Knicks to do.
that's right.
Camera girl, let me see. Take us out of here. Peace.
Peace.
All right, now you about to get on your job. About to lose your job.
It's not working.
All
You gotta
right.
turn it off.
It's a wrap.
Wait, help, it's not working. It's still going.
You see the bridge? Bridge.